Andrew, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, Shamim. It's been a while.
It's been a while. The last time we met was in Maine,
In Maine in 2020.
2020, and it was because
Different time.
of it was a project of you and Yankos. You guys, you're the co-founders of Ethos. It's an incredible idea where you gather a bunch of creators, founders, enthusiasts. You gather a group of cool people, give them the right environment, all during the chaos of what COVID brought us or brought upon us, especially folks in New York City. You're from New York City, and that's when we met, and it was quite the adventure. So I just want to introduce everyone. You are an entrepreneur, founder, investor, and an adventurous person, with different hobbies. um, we had our own share of stories back in Maine, and you come from Mexico City, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. I am born and raised in Mexico City. British name and heritage. That's what trips people up. But I'm 100% Mexican. Now New Yorker, turning 10 years in the city here. So also that's a big part of my identity, I guess.
Wonderful. And recently your new company, I think your coolest project up until now is Exo Longevity.
Correct. I guess everything that you were part of and other things that I've done before through Ethos, another company that I had called 𝐒𝐞𝐿, and just my whole journey took me to this moment, and this amazing company that I'm building. And usually, I have three things. Especially, I'm turning 40 today. By the way, it's my birthday. So
Happy birthday.
yeah, when you get a bit older, you start to think about things differently. And when I was moving from my last project, my last adventure into AXO, um, I mean, I had already kind of set up these ideas, these pillars, these values that I really follow. And it's basically to build um, things that have impact with amazing people and have fun while doing it. That's what I like to do. So I mean, we should go definitely deeper into AXO, which is my main thing right now, and we can talk about that. I know you've done a lot of longevity, preventive, functional medicine talks, and you're very interested in it. So happy to dive deeper. But as you were talking about ethos, that also brought some really cool memories, um, because yeah, we wanted talking about these pillars and everything. Basically, we wanted to enable people that are trying to change the world to be able to do so by traveling. I mean, the idea was to launch New York, San Francisco, London, the most important cities for business, for especially business travel and creation and creativity, but also the most difficult to get to, the most expensive. I mean, right now, New York is probably 500 a night minimum, or I don't even know anymore. I mean, I've been living here for so long, but it's just people that are starting things and that want to really create cool things. The idea was creating a base for that with a stay, a room, something that was really cool, really efficient as well. But that was coupled together with community, with like-minded individuals, people in a similar journey, but also people with one interaction can change the trajectory of your life. And that's what happens when you do things in real life, right? Like now it's called IRL, in real life. Um, just human connection, human bonding. And that's what we wanted to create, this platform for people to create, to do cool things, and to connect. And I think, I mean, it was pre-pandemic. That's the whole thing, right? That's how we met. Initially, it was hotels in the cities. When we met, that was our pivot because the pandemic happened and we couldn't basically do this in cities anymore. So we went to a farmhouse in Maine in 2020. I remember you couldn't even rent a car. It was like you couldn't get out of your place. We were adventurers, basically, just taking this risk. I think there were no masks back then, no tests. Like it was before everything, and it was incredible. It was there's so many stories from that. People had kids. People built companies. People made long life friends. So yeah, it was really really cool. I think we were a bit ahead of our times. Now it's more important than ever, I guess, as we get more technology, from Web 1 to Web 2 to Web 3 to AI to what's next. The human element is what's going to become, I mean, it already is super, super, super important.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I think ethos was a very defining moment, even in my experience of reality, is the people I've met, and I think one of my favorite self, and just being in this group of creative people who are continually working on their projects, um, and also the community, especially the food. We speak about longevity, and one of the main aspects I think of ethos was, how do we create, like, from farm to table, or like organic, healthy food. We had chefs come in,
Hmm.
like really delicious meals that felt nourished, and also
Yes,
combined that with community, right? For longevity, you probably know, obviously you have the nutrition part, get that right, but also with the community aspect is one of the big
exactly.
factors of how long you live. So I think
Yes,
you guys in a way sort of, I would say, steered that, gave that little, bits and micro bits of improvement in all of everyone's lives with that project.
definitely. I guess, yeah, I was already into longevity back then. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll get into how I got into that, but yeah, we were building longevity without knowing it in the one of the hardest moments for the human race, at least in the last decades and maybe 100 years. Um, and yeah, we were thinking about nourishing meals. We were thinking about having a good space. We were thinking about community, which, as you said, I mean, the longest running study that has ever been done is around community from Harvard, and what makes people live longer, better years. And it's the biggest indicator of this is human bonds, deep human bonds, which is incredible, more than not smoking or not drinking or things like that. Um, but I've always said that longevity is lifestyle. So definitely nutrition, supplementation, community, sleep, mental health, and other like smaller things, sexual health. Now people are talking about that more. Movement and sports. I think those are like the main ones. And with that, we can live amazing lives.
Absolutely. And you come from Mexico City, Mexico, and it's one of the places that I've mostly visited in my lifetime. Besides the places I grew up in, I've been there almost like 5 to 7 times already. It's one of my most, you know favorite cities. The way it is designed, especially, places like La Roma, La Condesa, the areas. If you talk about Mexico City and outskirts of Mexico, you have the beautiful, landscape towns, beaches, and your ethos. We continued the second version, uh, happened in Tulum. That's where what sort of next version. There was sort of like an evolution with another set of, like, we just changed and how a group of, in a way, we could have turned it into a reality show. Like you said, people had kids and made companies, right? So I think it would be a good reality project. But point in case, yeah, I love Mexico, Mexican people, culture, the food. um, I've started going there since, I think, 2015. Initially, because I was on H1B in my company, and if I go back home, I had to stop by a country that get a stamp. So I chose Mexico, because I've never visited Mexico, and the first time I went there, I fell in love with the city and the people. They're very welcoming. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Mexico is a country like I think every country, but Mexico especially of light and dark, two sides, yin yang, and it's such a beautiful place. We have everything there. We have everything, and it has its problems, our own problems, and also global problems that landed there, basically. Um, so I love Mexico, but I chose to live outside of Mexico. Um, I mean, that's more um, personal reasons that go way back, but yeah, I love visiting. It's some of the most welcoming people in the world, I would say. I used to do hospitality, and that's why I got into ethos. And yeah, we have amazing hospitality. From Baja California, Riviera Maya, Punta Mita, Puerto Vallarta, the whole coast on the Pacific, Cihuatanejo, which we also did, and Ethos. That was the third and last one. And then you have the cities, so much culture, so much history, thousands of years, right? Um, and then the food is insane because you have all these cultures from different ages, I guess, and from different places. People think there's only Mexican food, but there's like I don't know 100 different types of Mexican food. For instance, in Merida, Yucatan, and all that region, there were a lot of French people involved through industry and others. So they brought in a lot of sauces, but that combined with the Mayan culture, which is a completely different type of food, created the food that Merida does, which is incredible, one of the best in the world probably. And then you have, I don't know, Oaxaca, which is a completely different place full of incredible mezcal, agave food. You eat grasshoppers, you eat other things, and when you try them, you would be pleasantly surprised. Great source of protein, and so yeah, I guess it's a place of I don't know how to say it, but just different aspects. But yeah, now that I'm away, and I've been away for so long, I usually just remember the good things. So yeah, when I'm there, I'm back with the family, back with my friends. But something that is true is that I still cannot stay that long there. I don't know why. I feel like I need the energy of New York, I guess, for now. The energy of where I'm constantly pushing, creating, building. Over there, it's much slower, much slower. Maybe when I grow older, I'll appreciate that. For now, I want to keep building and creating.
absolutely. And curious to know where this drive, the entrepreneurial spirit, when did that spark come within you?
I mean, it's kind of that part that I was mentioning about my personal reasons. I mean, I'm an attorney. I studied law, practiced law, and it was great. I learned so much. I don't regret it, but it was too corporate for me. I felt, I mean, I was looking at billion-dollar deals, US, Spain, Europe. We were like helping build hospitals, prisons. We were buying and selling oil platforms in the Gulf of Mexico. We were selling and leasing back airplanes. We were doing M&A. We were doing finance. We were doing these massive deals, all sorts. That's how it works in Mexico. In the US, you kind of specialize into one little thing. In Mexico, you look at everything. So super interesting and learning so much. Um, but it was always kind of limiting because you were always looking at a project or a deal or a transaction that was already planned. You were just executing and just a little piece, which was the legal side. And I guess I always had this curiosity of who's doing this, why, how did he achieve this, how did he get here? And it was, I mean, looking back and connecting the dots, I think it's very clear that I kind of wanted to be doing those deals myself. I mean, not all of them, just like be the creator of that. So yeah, I mean, it took me a while, by the way, because after being a lawyer, I went into consulting, kind of doing private equity, hospitality. That's where my hospitality career started. That's what my dad has done all his life, and my family does still back in Mexico. And I love it. I love it. But after that, that's what brought me here. Came to New York, 2016. Did a real estate finance masters at NYU. So I wanted to keep learning, keep understanding all the aspects of business from the legal side, the tax side, the admin side, the finance side. I mean every aspect, right? And I think most importantly, the people side. People are still the only ones that build businesses. So did that. The real estate masters went into commercial real estate here in New York. I thought in my mind, what I was thinking, New York is the capital of finance and real estate, and this is the place to be. This is where I'm gonna learn that. But then that's when basically I jumped full time into tech, into startups. I fell in love with like the Silicon Valley mindset, the Silicon Valley way of creating things, kind of limitless. Um, building all these crazy companies that nobody thought could be possible, like Airbnb back then when I was doing this. WeWork was very famous, very big, and there were also companies related to what I was doing. So um, I tried to get in. I couldn't. My CV wasn't good enough, even though I had like 12 years of experience. People were treating me like just out of school graduate, or not even. I didn't have a visa. I mean, I had my OPT, but no visa. So two big challenges. Everybody was like, "What have you done in New York?" I'm like, "I don't know, but I built a hospital, $2 billion hospital in Mexico. Does that count or no?" And people wouldn't care. Like it was insane. So yeah, started from scratch. But that's when we started Ethos in 2018. Um, the story with Janko, who I love and admire. I hope he sees this, but he's also incredible. I was also remembering that how life just happens, right? And we plan, but it, you know, just things come into place, and you have no idea really what's going to happen. But Janko, I remember I was kind of running out of time. My OPT was running out, the student visa. I was like, what do I do now? Should I go to Mexico, or where do I go? I didn't want to go to Mexico. I was so in love with New York. I was like, I'm never leaving here. Um, and I joined a club which I was kind of a game changer for me, called Habitas. You might know it from Tulum. They have a hotel, or used to have a hotel, but it was a community in the beginning. It was a members club, and yeah, there I met incredible people that changed the trajectory of my life, basically. And one of them was this woman, Suzanne. um, and he told me like, well, we used to have these conversations over coffee, and I was like desperate about finding a job, and I was like, I need to find this and real estate and tech, and I want to get into, a startup, and how do I get there? And I didn't know anything about startups back then. And one day, out of the blue, she's like, "Oh, you should meet this guy. He's from Serbia. He just landed from San Francisco, and he's building this thing that is like hospitality and tech, and he's trying to change the whole industry." And I said, Of course, I want to meet him." Well, he's just here for, I think, 12 hours, so he can meet you today at 6 at this hotel in downtown. I'm like, "Okay, let's do it. I'm gonna move things around, but I have a dinner that I cannot move, so I have to meet him at this time." So I go to the place, to the hotel, and I'm waiting there for, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes. In New York, if you don't arrive on time, it's a no go. So I would usually wait 10, 15 max, but I don't know why. I mean, I had this dinner, and I had this hunch that I needed to wait, even though, like, when people disrespect my time, it's one of the worst things you can do to me. I was like, okay, I'll wait. This sounds very important. So anyway, I was about to leave, and he arrives. Like, and we just had like 2 3 minute conversation. He told me about it. I met him. He said, "Okay, I'm still gonna be here tomorrow morning. Let's meet. I'll tell you more. I'm sorry, this happened. Whatever." So I met him, and yeah, then it changed everything. Janko taught me the ropes of entrepreneurship, of startups. Not entrepreneurship, because I had built a lot of businesses before, invested in businesses, but I guess the Silicon Valley style. Y Combinator, 500 startups. Now he's a mentor there, so he's a great teacher, and he believed in me. He told me, "Do not quit. We don't have money. Like, we need to go and race." And like 3 days later, I quit, and yeah, we built this, and it was amazing. It was amazing. The rest is history, as they say.
What a wonderful story. Um, it's very interesting how people meet, and one person can change your perspective, shape the way you think, change your trajectory, and also the art of networking as well. Um, Especially in the business world, right? If you want to build something, networking is a superpower, but also the ability to communicate, the ability to express, the ability to um, show your best side. There's so much skills as a founder that you need to have, that I've seen. A lot of successful people, they have certain traits, right? Unless you are like a solo founder who wants to code all day, build something super brilliant, and then shows it to a couple of people, that's funded very easy. That's a different story. But I think a lot of the things that you, Yanko, and many others, there's some skills that you have acquired throughout your life, through experience, through your even personal. Some people have the personality, some don't. Some acquire it, some learn. So I find that quite interesting. What would you say? It's some skills. I think if someone is sort of about to graduate, right, who is still having the dream like you did back 10, 15 years ago, what would you teach them right now?
I love that question, and it's exactly what you were saying. Learning how to connect and bond and be close to people. The worst thing you can do is just be with by yourself, um, doing 100% AI. I mean, it's very valuable, and we don't know where that's going to end, right? To know and understand AI and build with AI. I mean, when I hire people, everybody needs to be using and testing and trying AI. But the most important piece today, and I think for the foreseeable future, will be just knowing how to connect with people, not even just for work, but for life. And life is work. I've always said it. Like, I don't have work life balance because it's the same. My work is my life, and my life is my work. And yeah, you have to maybe understand that. That's, I think, another good way of looking at life. But you talked about networking, which I don't like that word anymore. I like bonding, connecting, being close to people, because I hear a lot of people are now trying to work remotely all the time. Again, caveat: my company is fully remote. Everybody's all over the world. That doesn't mean we don't connect via Zoom and do like more human connection activities, but also I try to meet everybody in person, be with everybody in person, because that's a game changer. And then, yeah, like, the thing that's going to advance you the most ever is not any skill, it's your connections. It's who you know. As I said with ethos, right? It's one person can and will change the trajectory of your life. If I hadn't been talking with everybody, doing dinners, organizing events, little events before everybody was doing events, now everybody's doing events and dinners. And, uh, I told Suzanne, like, hey, I need this. I'm looking for this. Can you help me? Do you know anyone? But obviously, not just asking for stuff. How do you contribute back? And that's part of knowing how to relate to people. You shouldn't just be asking for things. How do you contribute? And it's not anything material. It's maybe advice, maybe a conversation, maybe something else, right? But yeah, that is the biggest trait and the biggest skill I think you can learn today. Um, so yeah, that's what I would really dig into. There's a lot of tools to help you with that. I know it's a big problem as well for people that lived through the pandemic, or people that were born with TikTok or with Instagram. We I think I don't know, I don't remember how old you are, but we were still born without iPhones and mobile phones. So we know, I'm a millennial. We lived through everything, so we still remember that, even though life has changed radically. But I think that's an advantage, and the people you see it here in New York very clearly. That's why everybody's doing dinners. That's why everybody's building communities, because even brands, right? The best way to sell is through community, and that's human connection. Because you can push an ad, or you can push whatever, like a group in Instagram, or content. Everybody wants to do content, or even podcasts, right? But if you don't connect with people, it's very hard, especially because everybody's trying to push you so many things. So there's no better way to really interact than forming bonds, and especially in real life, creating those moments. Even big movement now that I'm a fan, everything analog, right? No phones. Like, if you go to a club, leave your phone, or just put it out. No, don't be recording the DJ. Like, you're there to enjoy it, not to record it. Just dance, enjoy the moment, enjoy the music. um, and then cafes, like, also, like, no phones, no laptops, just talk to people. That's how creation happens, when you're talking to people, I think, when you exchange ideas. But also, that's how, love stories happen, or friendships happen. So that's the magic of it's serendipity, I guess, is the word.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You have phones, constant phones on one side, technology, which is supposed to help us take us to the next level. At the advent of artificial intelligence, it's what's is the capacity, the capacity to calculate, expedite tenfold, hundredfold the thinking level of humans. But at the same time, we also need the human connection, right? The people you met, the emotion and energy, which sitting me being a software engineer for a very long time in New York City, right? sitting in front of a cubicle and coding all day. It'd be if I go out on the streets or talk to someone, right? I would be still up in my head. So I had to develop a system within myself over the years, fine tune it so that I'm back in my body and be able to connect, feel. That's why you see you have this, you know, you see all this, this perception of geeky software engineers who are
Hmm.
very awkward at connecting. But deep inside, I think everyone craves connection. But um, you know, it's a skill that can be learned, and it will provide value
Yeah,
in
yeah,
different
yeah,
areas of life.
yeah, yeah. That's where there's tools that you can use for that, and I mean, I don't know all of them, but yeah, basically, if I can be helpful, I mean, you gotta put yourself out there first. You gotta risk that maybe embarrassment or shame or like just like I heard recently, like if you want to talk to a girl, just talk to a girl. Like there's no science to it. Just talk to a girl. Like don't be shy. Just talk, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Whatever. But practice it. Practice talking to people. Be open. Don't get into your phone. Remain open. Uh, Try to even show with body language that you're open to talking. But there's a lot of ways to really kind of train for that and become better. I well, I wanted to add just a parenthesis, and then I want to talk about a superpower that I discovered, which is creating communities and so. But regarding AI, I think it's important to mention that we shouldn't forget it's just a tool, right? And we should use it as a tool, not it shouldn't become everything for us. But with that said, um, I was pretty um, I don't know if nerdy, but I had a lot of insecurities, and I still do. Everybody has insecurities, right? Um, and especially around, or not that it was an insecurity, but I didn't think that me having a lot of friends, a lot of people that I knew, that I was able to bring people from different walks of life, different groups, different ideas together. I didn't think that was like a skill or something valuable until I did an exercise. I thought it was just normal and I wasn't that good and I was whatever, no? And then I did this exercise. It's called Find Your Zone of Genius. It's based on a book by Gay Hendricks. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's one of the most powerful things that I've done in my life. So if your audience is looking for something to change their lives, it's doing this, finding your zone of genius. Basically, it talks about how people operate in what we think about ourselves and what are our skills. It's a quadrant, and on the left, bottom left, it says like things that you're not good at. Bottom right, and the lines, the, the lines are time and effort, I think. Maybe I can share it with you for your notes in the podcast. But things you're not good at takes you a lot of time and you're not going to deliver a great output. Then things you're good at and you're going to deliver a good output. And then that's like your zone of incompetence, zone of competence, and then your zone of what is it? I forgot, but it's things you're really good at, take you a little time to do it, and you can make a lot of money. And that's where most people want to be, and that's where most people strive to arrive in their lives. Maybe you're great at doing Excel spreadsheets. I'm just going to put an example, right? So they become a financial analyst and then a banker and whatever, and that's where they stay. But then there's the zone of genius. So it's another level. You can upgrade to what you were put here on earth to do. And it might be that you're great with spreadsheets, but you hate doing them. and you're making millions of dollars as an investment banker doing spreadsheets or reviewing spreadsheets. Or, I mean, again, AI is going to change that very soon. But maybe you were put here on Earth to surf, or to, I don't know, create events, or to bring people together, or to paint, or to whatever, right? And this basically exercise teaches you about that, like what are the things that get you in your state of flow. It talks about the state of flow, moments of awe, and basically, which means moments where you lose track of time, when time moves very fast or very slow, where you are um, kind of in experiencing joy, and even deeper feelings of just existing and being here, and that's your zone of genius, right? um, I mean, again, I can send you the exercise. It's basically two parts. One is asking people that know you about, it's 4 questions or 5 questions, and it kind of, you start to see the you put the dots together and you find these things out. You ask people that met you when you were a kid, or people that know you now, or people that maybe a teacher, or a mentor, or your family, your friends, etc. And the other part of the exercise is a long form uh, writing exercise about you finding out when were you feeling like this, and then you put that together, and you just get your mind blown by what people are saying, and remembering these things that made you arrive to these states of higher, I guess, higher states of consciousness, if you will. I lost your sound.
Ah, sorry. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think it's a really incredible exercise. It looks like it takes you on a journey of self-discovery.
Exactly, exactly. And once, I mean, the power of this is that it changes your whole, it shifts your mindset. So for me, it was from, oh yeah, like, I have a lot of friends, and that's great, right? To, this is my superpower. This is one of my superpowers, and this is why I was put here on Earth, or this is one of the things, and this is what I have to really dive deep into. Because, I mean, from since then, this was after the pandemic, after ethos, after all of that, 2021, I guess, or 22, when I did this. And then I just went deep into it. And everything else that happened after, I mean, this was a very important piece of that. From, building my new company, raising the rounds, and putting events together, putting dinners together, bringing incredible people together, people I never thought would, respond, or join an event, or invest in my company. So that's the power of this. Just exploring this.
Wonderful. Yeah, because I think that what I feel it does is it our minds and thoughts are all scattered, right? From the moment we wake up, we have so much distraction. We think about what you want to do, what we have done. We think about the past, present, future, likes, dislikes. Sometimes some people who go deep reflection on longevity, death, etc. Right? So much. I think structures like that gives you a focal point,
Exactly.
brings everything together, gives you like a pathway. And I think, yeah, I would love to check it out more. Study the concept. Um, so now let's move into, I think, our main topic. One of my favorite topics is longevity, right? I think we just spoke about the phone, how while having the phone, and there has been studies done and I have experienced it myself. I went to silent retreats where I stayed in silence for around 10 days. I have been to hiking out in nature. You have done multiple things yourself like that where you're away from tech, and after you come back, and I guarantee if they put electrodes in your brain, take your blood tests, you see there is a sense of purification, right? Um, and and we are missing that out, right? We have city life. We have to learn how to balance city and nature, um, and we have to reprogram ourselves. So, in terms of longevity, right? What Before we dive into the company, I would love to see what are your main protocols that you sort of try to implement and improve on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, yes, that's a great segue. Um, I mean, my protocols have been evolving and shifting over time. Like I was today, for instance, it's much warmer in New York. So I was like, okay, I can take a cold shower now. But in the winter, I don't know if I can do that, right? But I, I mean, I try not to be too judgmental if I don't do the perfect protocol. But I posted recently about that on LinkedIn. I mean, some of the things that I've incorporated and that are kind of non-negotiables is having a routine at night and in the morning that I try to really respect, especially during the weekdays. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't matter. Forgive myself if that doesn't happen. And that starts in the morning with meditation, 5 to 10 minutes. I do guided because I can't do silent. Like I prefer guided; it's much easier. It's a great way to shift my mood if I'm not in a great spot. It's a fantastic tool. And fasting usually as well. I do like 16/8, 18/6, sometimes longer fastings, but I'm fasting in the morning. And then I drink water, one glass or as much water as possible as I wake up. Um, then sometimes I have my phases of doing breath work, kind of Wim Hof or other type of breath work. That's great as well. It gives you so much energy, but sometimes it just takes too much time. So right now I've been too busy and too scattered, but it's a great thing to incorporate. It's kind of a meditation as well, but it also gives you energy. It also helps you shift your mood. So it's maybe you can replace that with the meditation or use it alternatively. Um, what else in the mornings? Well, I do exercise in the morning. I try to move, even if I'm super tired or if I went out to a dinner or a party or whatever. I just try to move, even if it's 5 minutes, 5, 10 minutes. But if I have more time, I'll do 20, 30 minutes every day, especially weekdays. Weekends, I can be a bit more relaxed. Um, but in any case, I'm biking, walking around. Like we do a lot of exercise here apart from that. And then I have a supplement stack that I take. I've tried to simplify that a lot. That I think is, it varies on person by person. I'm taking omegas, I'm taking berberine, I'm taking, I don't even remember, but yeah, like depending on, I did my full biomarker panel, so it's basically adapted from that. And I found out like that I had to take care of my lipids and my cholesterol and all of that. So that's why I'm taking that. But I do take some supplements, and I've been going back and forth with this. And the best way from the top experts, it's like keep it simple. Don't take 20 things. Take five, maybe seven, There's some that don't even work. So just try to keep it simple. Um, what else? I think that's it on the in the morning, and then at night I've been like trying really hard and struggling with like no screens before sleep, like 1 hour. So I try to do that. I've been thinking about like buying a box or putting the phone somewhere where I cannot reach it. But with work, it's been really hard. I try not to take caffeine after like 2 p.m. Even before that as well. I'm trying to eat earlier at night as well. I have two meals, so yeah, like around 1, 2, and then try to eat around 6, 7. Also keep like 3 hours before I go to sleep. I can't make that happen always. So yeah, it's a lot of little things, but it's cool because my co-founder, he was, I mean, we have all the wearables and stuff, and he was having really bad sleep. And then I just gave him a few like recommendations, and he told me yesterday, like, wow, thanks to your advice, I had a 95% sleep last night. It's amazing. And basically, it
What
was,
advice? Yeah.
I mean, it was no caffeine. He was doing caffeine at 4 or 5. I gave him like use a face mask. So no light, no phones, no food, all of these things that I'm talking about. Sometimes I use a face mask. Also, that's great for sleep. But yeah, that's kind of the high level.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I think you are trying your best to live by what you're trying to build. As a founder, it's complicated, right? We hear so many stories about crashes, and like it's
Yeah,
all about energy, right? How much energy your mitochondria is limited, so you have to create the right protocols. So you have you are running on maximum efficiency, your body, right? As you age, the efficiency goes down naturally as human beings, but how do you optimize it? And especially you building, grinding, managing teams, creating, thinking, it takes a lot toll on you.
yeah, yeah. I think the key around all of that is balance, right? Again, like it's not about having 1,000 supplements and all these protocols. It's like finding balance, and if you don't achieve it, you forgive yourself as well, right? Like, don't be too hard on yourself. Um, but yeah, when I started building this company, even though I knew it was going to be really hard, I told myself that I would never like, you know, go to such an extreme that it's killing me, or it's making me sick or burn out. Or so I do try to do that and live by example with my team as well. Obviously, we work super hard, right? But I'm not pushing for these crazy things, the 996 and all of these that's just that's the complete opposite of everything we've been talking about, right? Because it's no community, no health, no life, just AI, just coding all day. Like, doesn't make sense. Like, AI is supposed to give us back time. AI is a tool. AI is supposed to give us back, not to uh, yeah, like make us more dependent on technology.
Absolutely. I think you put it, you straight up hit the main point is balance. And it's very integral. Whoever you are, either you're a founder, an engineer, an athlete. So now let's move into EXO. Before I pose a question to you, I'll tell you what I think it is,
Mm-hmm,
and you know, correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong in many aspects. So I'm aware of similar companies in the United States. You have Function Health, and then you had Superpower, and you have Mito. You have all these other companies, right? I know a couple of them by name, and there are a few others sort of have the similar preventive health
mm-hmm,
business model where they draw your blood, um, takes the tests, you know. displays the results with some AI insights, and then perhaps does some prediction, I assume. Um, and there are companies that do genetic tests as well. I've studied, so during the pandemic, our first during our first ethos, I was taking with Dr. Daniel Stickler, the doctor I've shown you the podcast. The reason we met was because he had an epigenetic coach where you learn all these aspects of nutrition, but applied them to epigenetics, understanding
Mhm.
genes, and then you get the clients and give them the blueprint, take the gene swabs, the saliva, and then you sort of give them the protocol based on your genetic attunement,
Amazing.
right? So you have all these tools, and then you brought that to um, Europe per se, right? So yeah, let's start off there. Tell me if I have covered at least a part of what
Yeah,
your
yeah, no,
vision is.
you're definitely on the right path. Basically, I think we're all, I don't see them as competitors. We're all building towards a better health for humanity. I think the existing systems of healthcare and medical systems failed us really in a really bad way. Um, there hasn't been really a lot of innovation on that end in a long time. It's basically a system that's working perfectly as it was created to keep us, coming back for more prescriptions and basically treating disease, not preventing it. And this is the revolution that's happening. What I call the longevity revolution. It started in the U.S. I mean, it's been going for 20, 30 years even. But I remember 20 years with biohacking, Tim Ferriss, and other now influencers starting to test different things, um, and yeah, doing a lot of from exercise to supplements to things that we had never heard about, bulletproof coffee and so on, and cold plunges, and but we didn't have the ability and the tools to understand what was happening inside of our body with that, what was the effect of those things we were doing, and then what did that mean. And I'll explain. So Axo Longevity is basically a platform that gives you a very complete picture of your health, of your body, and then decodes what that means in terms of your biomarkers, and then gives you personalized recommendations and blueprints. Right now, people have different products, different ways of doing this, from MRIs to blood to devices, saliva, different things. But the most effective way to look at your body today is with blood. I tend to say it gives you 80% of the information you need. And then you have all the other things, VO2, DEXA, genetic, brain, gut, etc. Right? So we also provide that, but we give
Can
you
you
a
repeat
member.
the last two tools that you mentioned or tests?
So I mentioned DEXA scan, VO2, genetic, gut, gut tests, and microbiome,
Hmm.
brain. The point is, there's a lot of stuff going on, and that's part of the problem. Very, very noisy. People don't know what to do, what works, what doesn't. So our membership, Axo Longevity, basically gives you a full picture of your health, initially with a blood panel, deep blood panel test. Then we tell you what that means, give you personalized recommendations, but also gives you access to all of these other technologies that are curated, vetted, technologies that we know work. We want to remove the noise. And then we're working as well on supplementation, nutrition, the longevity pillars. How people want to know how they can not only receive the data, but what do they do with that? And that's the big problem we're solving. If you imagine AXO in 3 to 5 years, we're the one-stop shop platform for health, anything related to health and longevity. So that includes which experts to see, or which clinics, or which supplements, and so on and so forth.
Thank you for sharing.
And
I
yes,
was
but I'll just add, we launched in Europe, but we're a global brand. The story there is the US is very advanced, has a lot of companies, a lot of not competitors, builders in the space. And we observed there was a big opportunity and a big need in the rest of the world. So we started in Europe. We launched in the UK, Spain, Netherlands, and Germany, and we want to expand. We're finalizing our seed round, and with that, we're going to expand to the top 10 markets in Europe and potentially um, another market, depending on how things land. Because for instance, one of our next markets was Middle East, so that right now is complicated. But we're looking at Latin America and Asia as well. So, yeah, that's kind of our product and our high level plans.
Thank you for sharing that. Incredible. Incredible that I love what you said, that we are not competitors. We're building towards like one goal of longevity. And yeah, coming on Asia, I'm just talking about like I'll tell you what. Right now, I'm currently in Bangladesh. I was out. Um, I was hunting a few days ago
Wow.
for hospitals that has a DEXA scan, a whole body. I really wanted to grab my entire family, get it because I want to know their visceral fat, because that's the hidden fat that
Hmm.
can cause a lot of damage to your system, including diabetes too, mess up your insulin resistance and things like that. So there, I find some complications as well. Another time, what I did was just over the fun weekend, I just created like a small MVP, tried to clone Function Health. And then I was talking to all these lab companies that one of the issues I found here in Bangladesh was the tests are expensive. And the reason because of that, um, I don't know if you ever jump into the Asian market, you might find this an issue because some of the, I believe they call the reagents. It's like one of the agents that you need for testing. Say you're testing thyroid, blood, and different things. A country like Bangladesh has to export it from another country, so by via flight. So that causes to ramp up, the prices. So I did a cost analysis of. I just took Function Health as sort of like a comparison model, and a test in Function, a yearly test, just a basic minimum. Like you don't have to go deep into say your heart. You don't go into the genetic part. Just before genetic, all the tests, all the ApoBs and cholesterol and all these things. It's packaged around, maybe I believe around $300. The same thing like that. If I would have built something here in Bangladesh, it would cost me maybe $500 to $600, and just because of how the different the economies, the GDP of the country and the people, the amount that the people make, it's not sustainable. So what I'm just doing right now is talking to local clinics, creating packages just for me and my family, so I
Hmm.
can create a system for us because I want to be healthy. I want my family to be healthy, right? But I think a model like that, it's definitely sustainable in maybe India, Singapore. Singapore, I think, would be a good market to look into,
Yeah. Yeah.
and other countries in Asia as well. But yeah, really interesting. So I'm just curious, like, how did you? What is your team like at the moment? How are you? What are some of the challenges that you're facing, and how you're trying to overcome them?
Yeah. My team, when I started building the company, I my goal was to build the best team to solve this problem, especially for a global play around prevention. Um, and we also wanted to build something with a differentiation. and that was performance, because we didn't want to kind of go after the whole market, but go after a niche or a wedge, um, which was easier because there's a delay in terms of the market in these countries. You know, there's people that know about it, that want it, but it's smaller groups, and it's it's a persona called the high performers. You've probably heard of them. So these are from athletes, amateur elite, to executives, founders, and other people thinking about performance, already measuring. You know, all the wearable users, all the people that drink protein, all the people that are going to the gym. It's a very big market and expanding, but we wanted to target those. So, um, I mean, I interviewed around 500 people just for my to find my co-founders, and they're amazing. Sergio is in charge of product and go to market. He's from Peru, lives in Florida, but we're both moving to Europe to drive this. And then Octavia, she's in London. She's in charge of operations, labs, and expansion. Um, and I I mean, we have an amazing team, amazing product team, amazing ops team, amazing, devs as well. But something that I'm very proud as well is, when we were thinking about performance, we were lucky to get in touch with Dr. 𝐒𝐞𝐚𝐫𝐜𝐡𝐞𝐬, who is the doctor of Real Madrid, and he's also our chief medical officer. And at the same time, we met Andy Walsh, um, who used to run performance for Red Bull. So we really built a clinical team that is, I mean, top tier, high performance, some of the best, um, and most recognized doctors in the world that have been working in performance, in prevention, in functional medicine, with the best athletes in the world, and not even athletes, astronauts or drivers, Formula One drivers, um, leagues. They've worked with, kings, and it's crazy. Like, the reach, the knowledge, the experience they have. So yeah, we built that incredible clinical team. We built a product built around performance. So we give you optimized biomarkers with our proprietary engine that I haven't seen another one like that yet. And yeah, the idea is, we go after the high performers. We know they're looking for something like this, someone like you, that wants to take care of your health, that is looking to understand what's happening inside of your body, and first to avoid disease. That's kind of where you start, and then to optimize your health. And that's one of the most powerful moments in the product, uh, and the customer journey, when you're able to see. Well, first you see what's happening inside of your body, when you might think you're great, and some things are great, some things are not that great. I had that moment, as I said in the beginning, with my lipid panel and my heart and all of that. I've been doing all the right things, but I have to do extra for my heart, so I've been doing that. But I mean, that was a bit of a learning moment, and a powerful moment. But then when you do your second test and your third test, and you see how your biomarkers are moving and changing, then it's amazing. It's amazing. And we don't want people to be like, every week or every 3 weeks doing this, or looking at their phones, or looking at the platform. We want people to come back every 3, 4, 6 months. But really, this gives you so much information and peace of mind in the end, that you're doing the right things. That the investments you make, the gym, the protein, the supplements, it's the time that you put into this is really working. So yeah, that's kind of um, how we build the brand, the product, and the team.
Thank you for sharing. You said it very elegantly and simply, but I think behind everything you've done, um, it took a lot of strategy, time, effort, yes and no's, and finding the right person, the connection, reaching them out. Um, can you share with me a challenge that you faced, and in building this, and how you overcome it?
Yeah, I mean, when when people ask me like what's my responsibility or my job, or I tell them I'm just solving problems all the time, solving challenges. So that's the role of a CEO and a founder. But specific challenges, I mean, our main two goals right now are to close the seed, which is it's coming together. We will be oversubscribed, which is amazing, and it should close in the next few weeks. Um, that was kind of my main thing in the past few months, and now we started testing markets because we launched 4 markets, 4 languages, for different cultures, very quickly. And for that, we used wait lists apart from other strategies, but we started saying, okay, let's see if there's interest here, right? If there's demand, and yeah, we got really good demand. So we built these wait lists, and now we're starting to turn those into beta users, into customers, into members. So that's kind of our main driver, coming out of the seed. And yeah, I mean, from that, there's been a lot of learnings and challenges, to your question. There is a different way of thinking about health and longevity in Europe. People love it, and they're very connected to it. There's a big the here in the US or other parts of the world, we think of Europeans as very healthy and very, the typical Italian guy that lives to 120, like smoking and drinking. And that's true, like the blue zones and all of that. Um, but that's very specific to certain areas. And it's very specific to certain lifestyles. But the rest of Europe, which is 95%, is still used to the reactive healthcare system, to getting sick and going to their doctor and all of that. So showing people, educating people on how we are different to that and the benefits of that has been a very rewarding challenge, and it's been helping us get to better metrics, conversions, funnels, all the things. But once people understand, again, there's this aha moment, right, of going from, okay, my doctor can give me a blood test, annual blood test, but it's going to be 10, maybe 15 markers, and that's it. And all of these other things I will never know about until I get the cancer or the heart attack, or other things. So when there's this aha moment, people really kind of connect to the brand. And in the end, that's what we want to build. We want to build a consumer brand in health, which means the iPhone of health, or the Uber of health, or the Amazon of health. There's no, in all of the world, there's no brand around health that people really connect to or people love, if you think about it. Any
Mm,
country in the world, that is like a product that people love, that people say, you know what, these guys are doing great things. I love the customer experience. I love the product. When can I go back? And we're thinking, when we build everything that we do, we think about that.
yeah, thank you for sharing. Like, I want to tune into the mindsets of health, longevity, and preventive medicine in people from the United States. You're familiar with the people in the United States. You're familiar with the people in Latin America. and Europe is a different new game. I used to think people are more aware, fundamentally more aware, but I think I was in Berlin. I was in Berlin last year. Went to the gym. I stayed in like the main center, most beautiful part. After the gym, I could not find any an healthy outlet to eat. Like, if you walk down the streets of New York, you'll find Degen, Kava. If
Exactly.
you live in Williamsburg, but it was not there in Berlin. Mostly like burger stands. So it'll be quite interesting how you penetrate the mindset of people. And if you look at Poland, Germany, Italy, things like that. So I'm looking forward to how you guys shape that and sort of manifest um, the brand like aura that you want to bring, connecting health and lifestyle, and it's one, like it's one thing. I mean, it'll be really powerful, and I wish you guys, the best of luck. And I think you guys are doing something powerful and incredible so far already. I'm sure there's more to come. I know it's you have your entire day ahead. You have so much work to do. Is there anything I've missed that you'd like to share in this conversation?
I mean, I would just kind of dig deep into this longevity revolution. When you start a business, a company, you're insecure about a lot of things. If you're in the right market, if this is going to be the right thing, and I would just share with people, this is so important. I think it's one of the biggest movements and shifts in humanity that's going to happen in the next few decades, and I'm so excited about that. If you think that 75% of disease is preventable, all of these, the four horsemen, no, cancer, diabetes, heart attacks, Alzheimer's, and so many others. 100% of heart attacks are preventable, and this is the biggest killer of humanity. So that's what really excites me, and that's what drives me. We have the mission of bringing, unlocking health span for humanity. So yeah, I think the coming years, kind of coming back to technology and AI and all of these things, right? There might be a few years of shock and just challenges, but hopefully AI delivers on its promise of us having more time to look at our health, to travel, to connect, to learn, um, and longevity will be a key part of that. Taking care of our bodies, of our minds, even of our spirit, right? So yeah, that's kind of what's coming. It's happening already. I can see it. The more people I talk to, the more I realize it. Everybody, when I talk to investors, a lot of high net worth, ultra high net worth, family offices, not even the VCs, right? Everybody wants to be involved. Everybody's trying to look for an angle. So that tells you something. And I think our goal is to bring it to the rest of the world, right? So that's really exciting.
Absolutely, and I think we were talking about. I think I mentioned I was in Austin last year. This is like really cool. So many biohacking communities and events, and the products that I've seen there are just like very new to me. You have carbon dioxide therapy, you have hyperbaric chamber, you have red light, you have hydrogen infused molecular hydrogen for water. So there's so much research going on out there, and it's forefront of our mind the next few years. Yeah, thank you very much, Andrew. I think I've learned a lot, and I could feel your passion, your desire to bring this out to many people, and I would like to see you guys flourish, and maybe get a blood test done in the future to see how what your dashboard looks like. I'm also curious to know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Let us
but
know when you're in Europe, and you should definitely try it out.
yeah, thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you so much. I mean, amazing being
I leave
here.
the
And
links and everything in the podcast notes. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it. Okay. Have a good one.
Take care. Great reconnecting.
Bye bye.